everyone, we are together again with another video which is about present perfect continuous tense. Okay, today we are going to see present perfect continuous tense on the timeline with its usage, time expressions, affirmative, negative, and question forms. And finally, we're going to do some practice. Why? Because practice makes perfect. I love that proverb. Okay, the question comes up. What form is present perfect continuous tense is used? It is used for actions that is being taken place for some time and still going on. Let's see what it means with an example. Here comes our example. I have been studying English for 3 years. Let's try to see it on the timeline, what it might mean. Here comes our timeline. There you go. Okay. I started this action. What is the action here in this case, in this sentence? Studying English action. Started this action sometime in the past. And see, this action continued up until now, up till present. And right here you see dash type like line, and this line shows us that studying action is still going on. How do I understand that this sentence is made in present perfect continuous? Okay, there you go. Helping verb, have been, verb ing. What else? Number 2, I understand that this sentence is made out of the time expression for 3 years. That's a period. And for is also time expression used for present perfect continuous tense. What is our word format? Have, has, being plus verb ing. I'd like to see verb format once more. Subject plus have, has, our helping word for present perfect continuous. Being plus verb ing. That is our word format. Okay, let's try to explain it with an example. I have been studying English for 10 years and I am still studying English. Okay, let's see it on the timeline. There you go. Here, I started studying English sometime in the past and it continued up until now, which is in this case for 10 years, and still studying English right here. After present, after now, it's still going on. It's an ongoing action. Okay then, what do we use present perfect continuous tense for? Number 1, duration from the past till now for the actions which has got a duration from the past till now. Number 2, I also use present perfect continuous for actions that recently stopped. Number 3, I also use present perfect continuous for actions happening lately. actions happening recently. And finally, number 4, I use present perfect continuous for temporary actions. Now we'll elaborate them one by one, and let's get started with the number 1, duration from the past till now. Okay, here comes up our example. I have been living in Istanbul for 5 years. Is there a duration here? Yes, there is. What is the duration? For 5 years is the duration, continuation, a period of time. Up until now, that shows that I still live in Istanbul. I have been living in Istanbul for 5 years means that I still am living in Istanbul. Another example. I have been teaching English for 10 years. Have I stopped teaching English? Of course not. It's still going on. I have been teaching English for 10 years, and next year it's going to be 10, it'll be 11 years. Okay? It's an ongoing, still going action. Going on action. Okay, let's see number 2. Actions that recently stopped. I have been cooking all day. I'm tired, so I'm going to take a nap. Okay. I've been cooking all day. I'm tired, so I'm going to take a nap. Has the action stopped? Yes, it has stopped. And what happened? She's tired, she says, after that action. But that action has recently stopped. And because she has been cooking all day, she's tired now, or she got tired. So she's going to take a nap. That shows us, that example shows us that we can use present perfect continuous for actions that recently stopped. Another example, it has been raining, the sidewalk is wet. Okay, the sidewalk is wet, even though it's not raining. I can imagine, I can think that there was a rain, right? Okay, but the thing is here we got to be careful about, even though the action has ended, it is ended recently. Okay, it is being raining. Right now, is it raining? It's not. But the sidewalk is wet. That's why I understand that the action has ended or completed. Number 3, actions happening lately. He has been going to bars a lot lately. Lately shows us that the actions happening lately or recently. Another example. I haven't been studying English recently. As you can see, recently, lately shows us that this action in this example happening lately. Number 4, finally, she has been visiting her uncle for the past week. Okay? What about before last week or past week? Okay? It is talking about, this sentence is talking about specifically, especially for the past week. So that makes this action, visiting her uncle action, that makes it a temporary action, not a permanent one. Okay? Right. I have been going to gym a lot recently. Recently, maybe for a couple of days in the past week. Okay? But it's obvious that I don't go to gym all the time. or I don't usually go to gym. This shows that, this example, I've been going to gym a lot recently. It shows that going to the gym action is a temporary action, not a habit, not a regular activity, not a permanent action either. Let's try to explain present perfect continuous with another example. He has been driving this car since 2012. Let's see it on the timeline. Here you can see the 2012, the time that driving action started, okay, and it continued up until now. Let's say 2021 is the present time now. So he has been driving this car since 2012. The most probably he will sell it in 2 years' time. Also shows that the action is still going on. What is the action? Owning the car or driving the car action is still going on. So basically, present perfect continuous tense is used for actions that is being taken place for some time up until now, and it's still an ongoing action, still going on action. Okay, how long? How long? And let's see for and since. How long is the question which is asked to learn about the duration of an action. Duration of an action. Answer comes with for and since to show how long an action has lasted. So the question comes up with how long, and if a question comes up with how long, how do I answer? I answer with for or since. What for? To show how long an action has lasted, which means the duration of a time or the duration of an action. How long have you been studying? It's asking me to give as an answer a duration or a period. I have been studying for an hour. Right there I'm giving a duration or a period of time of the action. I have been studying since this morning, I can also say. So for and since show us duration of an action. Therefore, for and since are used as time expressions for present perfect continuous. What is the difference between these two time expressions? For is used for period of time from start to end, and since is used for a point in time up to now, up until now. For 20 minutes, 4 days, for 3 years, for 2 centuries, for a long time, forever. As you can see, after for, what comes after? A period of time comes after, not a specific point in time. But since 4 a.m., since Thursday, since 2011, Christmas, childhood, since I was born. After since, what comes up? A point in the past, and the time comes up until now. Let's try to focus on the difference between present perfect and present perfect continuous tense. Here we have two tenses. For present perfect, we used I have studied English for 5 years. Here, in present perfect, I'm not studying any longer. That means. But present perfect continuous, I have been studying English for 5 years, means I'm still studying English. So to sum up, one main difference is in present perfect, the action is no longer happening, but in present perfect continuous, the action is still going on. Let's try to see it on the timeline. There you go. Started sometime in the past and continue it up until now. What about present perfect? Started sometime in the past and continue it up until now. And it will continue as well in the future. So this part is not here in present perfect. Let's try to focus on another main difference between present perfect and present perfect continuous. As you can see in the picture, she cooks something in both pictures actually. She's tired. She has been cooking all day. What is this? Present perfect continuous. But here she has cooked the meal, which is present perfect. Let's see what's the difference. In present perfect continuous, we explain the side effect of the activity. What does that mean? Side effect of the activity. Right here. Because she has been cooking all day, what is the side effect? She's tired. That's the side effect. But in present perfect, we try to show the direct result of the activity. She has cooked the meal. What is the direct result here? The meal is ready. Let's try to focus on another main difference between these two tenses. Here, on the picture on the left, he has been repairing the car for 2 hours. As you can see, his hat is in the car. He has repaired the car. Okay, what difference do you see between these two? Here, present perfect continuous, emphasis on the activity. What is the activity? Is the repairing car activity. But here, present perfect continuous, emphasis on result. So, what they emphasis on are different. Okay, let's try to have a look at again the difference between these two. I have read a book about monkeys. Second sentence, I have been reading a book about monkeys. First one, as you can see, is in present perfect. Second sentence is in present perfect continuous. Okay, what do we see as difference in meaning? I can also already see the difference in format. Why? Because the first one is present perfect, the second one is present perfect continuous. But what about the difference between these two sentences in meaning? There you go. I have read a book about monkeys means I read it. The action is over. I started from page number 1 until page 136, and it's over. But what about I've been reading a book about monkeys? The action is still going on. I haven't finished reading it yet. So I read a part of it in the second sentence. But in the first sentence, I read it, I finished it, and put it aside. She's written the article, another example. She's been writing the article. As you can see, the first sentence is in present perfect, the second sentence is in present perfect continuous. Of course, there are differences you can see in format. Has verb 3, has been verb ing. But what about the difference in meaning? The first sentence, she's written the article, the action is over. Writing the article action is over. She wrote the book, covered it up, and just ready to be solved. But what about the second sentence? She has been writing the article. Okay, I understand that for some time, this writing the article action is going on. But in meaning, it means the article isn't finished, isn't over yet. Let's touch on action and non-action verbs. I mentioned this topic in my other videos, specifically in other continuous tenses, as you can remember. Why? Because non-action verbs, we cannot use them in continuous forms. Okay, what are the actions and non-action verbs? Jump. If you can see me jumping, then that means this action is an action word. Punch, shake, they are action verbs, while like, feel, want are non-action verbs. Why? Because you cannot see. Okay, I'm looking at you, and in my mind, I'm thinking about how much I like ice cream. Can you see the action? Of course you can. So if you cannot see the action, then they are called non-action verbs. Why do we need to know which verb is action, which verb is non-action verb? Because we have to know, we got to know that we cannot use non-action words in continuous form. I have been having this car for a year. Does this sentence sound grammatically? I have been having this car. But what is the verb here? The verb is to have. To have is a non-action verb. And it wouldn't be meaningful, it would be meaningless to use it in continuous forms. Okay? I've been having this car for a year is not right, it's not grammatic. So, I gotta say, I have had this car for a year. As you can see, the verb have is not in continuous form, as in here. That's why I used it in present perfect tense instead of using it present perfect continuous tense. What are the other example verbs? Understand, need, want, remember, like, know, mean, enjoy, prefer, and seem are not used in continuous form because they are non-action verbs, and non-action verbs cannot be used in continuous form. Let's touch on time words or time expressions of present perfect continuous. all day long, all morning long, all week long, all year long, all day, all morning, the whole week, the whole year, since 3 o'clock, since yesterday, for the last 2 days, or for the past 2 days, 3 hours, etc. For 10 days, 10 hours, for ages, we can use as time expressions or time words in present perfect continuous. Let's do some practice. And let's do some practice with for and since. In practice, a sentence is given but not complete. And we should complete it like, I have been studying first aid since last year. Why do I put since here? Because last year is a specific point in the past. Okay, one student not feel well. For and since, we're going to use either for or since. A few days. What comes before a few days? For or since? My question is, a few days is a period or a specific point in time in the past? Sure, a few days is a period. So what am I supposed to use before? For a few days. Okay. One student has not feeling well for a few days. Next example. Ages. Before ages. What am I supposed to use? For or since? Yes. I'm supposed to say for ages. My answer would be, I have been trying to ring my parents for ages. Next. And at the end, so long. What should I use before so long? For or since? Exactly. For so long. What have you been doing in the library for so long? And number 5 example, or sentence, at the end, there is 1st of August. Would you use for or since? What is my question to define if I'm supposed to use for or since? My question is the time expression or time word is a specific point in time or a period? If it is a period, I'm going to use for. If it is a specific point in time in the past, I'm going to use since. So 1st of August is a yes, specific point in time. Therefore, we have been learning how to climb since 1st of August. Let's make positive for. I have been watching the movie for 15 minutes. There is no negativity or interrogative or question form here. Another affirmative or positive. She has been playing piano since she was a child. They have been painting since 5 a.m. this morning. And he has been doing this job for 10 years. Let's have a look at the negative word. To make it negative, I simply put not. I have not or I haven't been talking to her for a very long time. We have not been seeing each other since we broke up. They haven't been going to the cinema since pandemic. Let's see the question form. To make it question, I just pull help word to the beginning of the sentence. Have you been studying English for a long time? How long has she been telling lies to me? How long have they been playing soccer as professionals? Some more practice we're gonna do now. This time, we're gonna read and make positive or affirmative sentence. She has been working here for 5 years. I have been working all day. What am I doing here? I basically practice the structure. What is my structure or format or word format? Have, has, been, verb, ing for present perfect continuous tense. They have been learning English for 2 years. We have been living in California for 6 years. He has been playing football, so he's tired. I have been driving a sports car for years. She has been spending her holiday in Mexico. And I have been cooking, so I am really hot. This time let's make negative. It hasn't been raining lately, or I can also say it has not been raining lately. I haven't been swimming today. You haven't been cooking this year. We haven't been studying enough for our exam. Okay, some more practice. This time we're gonna do question. Affirmative form is, we have been waiting for over half an hour. To make it question, I'll just hold have and bring it to the beginning of the sentence. Have we been waiting for over half an hour? Have you been studying since 9 o'clock? Has she been taking English lessons lately? And have we been exercising enough? In this video today, we talked about present perfect continuous and tried to show it on the timeline diagram, because as usual I always mention that it's easier, better to understand it on the timeline diagram. We talked about the format and usage, how we can use it properly. Talked about time expressions, affirmative, negative, and question forms, and finally we did some practice, because practice makes perfect. And thank you for listening.